Hi there, it's Kathy from CassEdge.com, and in this next series of audios, I want to discuss understanding the law of attraction. And the reason that I want to talk about this is I think that there's way too much pop culture and fluff and mumbo jumbo surrounding the topic. And I want to share with you what I believe is probably the best explanation of how to understand the law of attraction and also to help understand why for some people they say, well, it just doesn't work or stuff like that. In my view, nobody has explained the law of attraction better than Ernest Holmes in his famous work The Science of Mind, which was published in 1938. The concepts that he talks about in his book are not new, and there's an entire chapter dedicated to the law of attraction. And this is a long book. It's nearly 700 pages, and there is so much in here I couldn't possibly bring it all to you. But it's in print, and you can get it, on Amazon if you'd like it. But what I'm going to do is in a series of 7 audios here, I'm going to read you this particular chapter. The chapter itself on the law of attraction takes about 12 pages to read. It's 12 pages in print in my volume, and it is divided into 7 parts. And it's the first part is entitled Thought Atmosphere, followed by Attraction of Personality, Attracting Friends, Attracting Success, No Failures, No Personal Responsibility, and The Law of Correspondence. And I just love the way he explains all this. Actually, I love this whole book. It goes everywhere with me. So what I'll do is in this very first audio, I'll bring you the first couple pages, and I'm just going to read it to you. All right, so we're going to start right now with the section called Thought Atmosphere. Now, you got to realize again that Ernest Holmes wrote this in 1938, so his language may seem a little quaint to you. Nonetheless, I'm going to give it a shot. So let's begin. Chapter 18, The Law of Attraction, Thought Atmosphere. Spiritual mind healing is a result of the constructive use of a mental law which the world is gradually beginning to understand. Since we are thinking beings and cannot stop thinking, and since creative mind receives our thought and cannot stop creating, it must always be creating something for us. What it will make depends wholly upon what we are thinking, and what we shall attract will depend upon that on which our thoughts dwell. Thought can attract to us that which we first mentally embody, that which has become a part of our mental makeup, a part of our inner understanding. Every person is surrounded by a thought atmosphere. This mental atmosphere is the direct result of his conscious and unconscious thought, which, in its turn, becomes the direct reason for and cause of that which comes into his life. Through this power we are either attracting or repelling. Like attracts like, and it is also true that we may be attracted to something which is greater than our previous experience by first embodying the atmosphere of our desire. Taking as the starting point the idea that the essence of man's life is God, it follows that he uses the same creative process. Everything originates in the One, comes from the same source, and returns again to it. As God's thought makes worlds and peoples them with living things, so our thought makes our world and peoples it with our experiences. By the activity of our thought, things come into our life, and we are limited only because we have not known the truth. We have thought that outside things controlled us, when all the time we have had that within which could have changed everything and given us freedom from bondage. Everyone automatically attracts to himself just what he is, and we may set it down that wherever we are, however intolerable the situation may be, we are just where we belong. There is no power in the universe but ourselves that can free us. Someone may help us on the road to realization, but substantiality and permanence can only come through the consciousness of one's own life and thought. Man must bring himself to the place in mind where there is no misfortune, no calamity, no accident, no trouble, no confusion. where there is nothing but plenty, peace, power, life, and truth. He should definitely and daily, using his own name, declare the truth about himself, realizing that he is reflecting his statements into consciousness and that they will be operated upon by it. This is called in mysticism high invocation, invoking the divine mind, implanting within it seeds of thought relative to oneself. And this is why some of the teachers of olden times used to instruct their pupils to cross their hands over their chests and say, "Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me," definitely teaching them that as they mentally held themselves, so they would be held. Act as though I am, and I will be. One of the ancient sayings is that to the man who can perfectly practice inaction, all things are possible. This sounds like a contradiction until one penetrates its inner meaning. For it is only when one completely practices inaction that he arrives at the point of the true actor. For he then realizes that the act and the actor are one and the same, that cause and effect are the same, which is simply a different way of saying, know the truth and the truth shall make you free. To reduce the whole thing to its simplest form, whatever one reflects into mind tends to take form. That is the end of the first part of the chapter on the law of attraction. The next audio will continue with attraction of personality. Thanks for listening.